Tia Carol Jones. I'm here today with Theodis Rogers. Welcome to the show.
Oh, great being here.
Thank you for
Thanks
being
for having
here.
me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born in Chicago, Illinois. To the parent of my mom and dad, Marie and Theodis Rogers. I was the oldest of five.
Okay.
So yeah, and I've been a musician most of my life, over 50 years. Yeah.
So what is your earliest memory of being exposed to music?
That would have been my dad. My dad was a vocalist, and his the phone's ringing. As a kid, I remember him being the designated Lord's Prayer singer at church. They were members of Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, and that was his gig to sing the Lord's Prayer.
Okay.
He had a great baritone voice, and that was my first exposure to music. And I was always enamored with the piano and the organist at the church, and I thought at some point I would play. My father was actually an artist too, did a lot of drawings and things like that, but they thought I was going to follow in his footsteps being an artist or something like that. So they sent me to the Art Institute of Chicago to take art lessons on Saturday, and they sent my sister for piano lessons, organ lessons. Mm-hmm. So that switched because I picked up her piano books and I started playing, so we started doing recitals together, and I ran with the music, so that's where it all started.
And what, you said you were enamored by the keyboardist at the church. What was it that they were doing that captivated you?
Just music. I've always been captivated by music. Not only the influence of my dad being a vocalist, because I don't really sing. I can, but I don't. My uncle Fluky, Floyd T. Bradbury, loved jazz organ, and he was always playing Jimmy Smith records. Okay. So that's where I would hear live music, was at church. So the whole idea of live music at church, in the worship, that's what really, that's where I caught the bug. And my parents bought an organ for our house, and I have to admit this, I was quite the show off. Mm. If there was this one young lady that lived next door, whenever I would see her come home from school, I'd open the window and start playing organ. So the whole thing has been all about showing off my musical talent. So There you have the real story.
Okay. What are some of your favorite projects that you worked on during your career?
Oh my gosh. My first professional job as a music director was with Curtis Mayfield. I was 20 years old. I directed his tour, 1980 tour with Curtis Mayfield and Linda Clifford. I don't know if you know her name. She was a disco star. After that, I was a music director for the Ebony Fashion Fair for almost 20 years. Johnson Publishing Fashion Fair, the world's largest traveling fashion show, which is more or less like a Broadway production, because we had live music and performance along with showing the fashions of the world. A lot of recording. I did a lot of recording with Curtis Mayfield. Traveled with Ramsey Lewis for a few years as a featured keyboardist. I was Angela Bofill's music director. Countless commercials, radio and television commercials I performed on here in Chicago. So, and I moved to California briefly. I had a part in the movie called Indecent Proposal with Robert Redford, Demi Moore, and I do a cameo with Sheena Easton. That was kind of a highlight. So you can go watch that movie and, hey, that's him. And my latest accomplishment was I had my organ trio was featured in the 2023 Chicago Jazz Festival. Okay. So yeah, that was monumental for me.
And so, what is it that makes you continue to perform?
My love of music. It brings that's my source of joy. It makes me happy, you know, and I think that's the key to life anyway. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you should pursue. And I guess I'm blessed and lucky because I love music. It's something I would never retire from. Matter of fact, I kind of consider myself in retirement now, but I retired to do what I love, music. So, yeah, and I like to say it keeps you young, you know, and viable. And I feel like what I do is important, you know.
As the music director for Teatro Zinzanni, how do you choose the music that will tell the story?
Well, it starts with the production team. Once we write the show and get an idea of the direction and the storyline, then what I'll do is start choosing music that fits that. You know, kind of like in the terms of what we do with Teatro Zinzanni, it's basically a circus. So they have a time when we're putting the show together that's called creation. So basically, we just throw everything in a big pot, and whatever sticks to the show, we keep it. So I do the same thing with the music. You know, since we cover and I enjoy playing different genres of music, I'll just go through create a playlist of things that I think would work for the show, and then from that, I take what works and get rid of what doesn't work. You know, and that usually takes me a couple of weeks for it to all settle in. But that's how I basically go about choosing music.
And for people who have not seen Teatro Zinzanni, can you just describe the show?
Teatro Zinzanni is a circus, performance circus without the wild animals. Okay, so it's sort of cabaret, musical theater, circus performers, a lot of the performers are out of the Circus Soleil realm, and there's live music incorporated in that. I've had the opportunity over the last 3 years to work with some fabulous vocals, especially Liv Warfield, who's part of our show now, who's recording artist and was with Prince many years. And the key to this new iteration of the show is we're going to start incorporating more Chicago talent.
Okay.
Over the last couple of weeks, I've had the privilege of having Simone Green from Chicago in the show. Last year we had the singer Soraya. She was part of the cast. So we want to move in that direction to feature more of our Chicago talent.
Okay. And how do you keep Teatro Zinzanni fresh?
Well, we're always constant. This show changes almost every week. I mean, in the last year, we've had 6 different productions, so to speak, you know, and contingency productions if we have people that are ill or out sick or doing other things. But we keep it fresh by trying new things. The show is almost different every night. I shouldn't say this, right? But, you know, the performers are always trying to tweak their performances. I'm always trying to tweak the music, you know, to make sure it stays exciting or it fits a new scene or a new act. We try to keep the music current if it requires that, because some parts of the show are like period pieces. And my expertise has been in being able to cover all those different genres, you know, rock, jazz, funk, and I consider myself a jazz pianist. But I just love all the different styles of music. So because of my experience in doing that, I try to keep the music fresh by being able to pull from all of those different genres.
What else do you have coming up that you'd like the audience to be aware of?
Oh, well, I have been recently part of Black Voices in Cabaret, which is where we bring together Black voices, amateur, professional singers in the city. And just 3 weeks ago, we did a performance at the Logan Center. It was 21 vocalists, and we have a show coming up on May 10th. It's called Reimagining Cabaret. And it's going to be out at the Nathan Manilow Theater on Saturday, May 10th. It's 7:30 p.m. So that's the next major thing I have coming up outside of the Teatro Zinzanni.
And where can people go to find out more about you?
Oh, you can go to Facebook. You can go to my website, theojazzmusic.com, and hashtag TheoJazzPiano, Instagram.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like our audience to know?
Happiness. Let's talk about happiness.
Sure.
Everybody should strive to be happy. And whatever that is, strive for that. Anything that makes you unhappy, let it go. Don't even deal with it. And if you're in a situation where the people around you appreciate who you are and what you do, that's where you need to be. That's what's happened for me at Teatro Zinzanni. I'm in a situation where they appreciate my talents and what I do, and I'm very happy to be part of the family.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Remember to tune in next week for Conversations with the Citizen, the place where real news can be heard. You can listen on iHeart, Spotify, and iTunes podcast streaming services.